Bitcoin just broke over 40k. In today's video, we're going to talk about the significance of this level and the likelihood of a continuation upwards. If you're new to the channel, hi, my name is Jess, and as the channel name suggests, we're going to be diving into a lot of crypto, trading, and technical analysis. So if you're all about that or you'd love to learn, hit the subscribe button and like the video. To understand why 40k is such an important level for Bitcoin, we have to look at the macro chart. So this is a weekly chart showing all the way back to the end-ish of 2020, and we haven't been above this level since May/April 2022. So it's been more than a year since we've been above this level. It really marked, breaking this level really marked the beginning of the bear market for Bitcoin in the previous cycle. And historically, breaking through this level here has resulted in a huge level of volume and volatility in bullish and bearish momentum for the market. And so since we're in an uptrend, the same can be expected here. If we have a look at the volume profile, the next gap, like the end of the gap between 38 and 40k, is all the way up at 46 to 48k. So what we can expect upon the breaking of 40k is a massive move, really quick, with high volume and volatility and momentum all the way up to 48k. So now we know why 40k is such a big deal for Bitcoin. The next question is, what is the likelihood that we're going to continue upwards? The main thing to look for when we're trying to answer that question is, are we seeing signs of macro exhaustion? So if we take another look at Bitcoin on a macro chart, we can see that it's been traveling in this uptrend for about a year now, and an uptrend is an uptrend until it's been broken. So until we see a break of this horizontal level at $32,000, even if we do see a little bit of a retest to 40k, maybe even 38k, we are still in a macro uptrend until we break 32k all the way down here, which I don't think is really likely, but in a macro analysis, we are still in an uptrend until, that break happens. And if we look at indicators such as RSI, we can find whether or not we're seeing any signs of bearish divergence on our momentum. Let's have a look. So RSI, we've been traveling in this uptrend for the same amount of time as the uptrend's been developing on the chart here, and we're still above the macro uptrend here. We're seeing no signs of breaking that. Volume as well is also still up overall. There's really no signs of weakness here. We aren't losing bullish volume or anything like that. So next, let's have a look at a short time frame and see what we can expect over the next couple of days to weeks. Alright, so we know the macro uptrend is strong, but what about on a short time frame? What's happening there? So this is Bitcoin on a 1 hour chart. It's been a couple of days. The start of this was on Thursday, the 30th of November. So we've been in an uptrend for about maybe 3-4 days now. And that's the same uptrend that we've sustained to break $40,000 and that we're still sitting above. And that's important because until that uptrend's broken, we are still technically in an uptrend, even if we do see a short-term movement downwards back to 40k. So on momentum, we are looking pretty all right. There is some bearish divergence here. So again, suggesting we might see a bit of a correction. As I'm saying that, I'm literally watching a red candle form, so maybe. Volume is still pretty positive. We are seeing a little bit of a dip here. But other than that, let's have a look a little bit closer and see what kind of correction we might get from this short-term bearish divergence. So I've zoomed right up into a 1 minute chart here and mapped out our local high and our local lows. So this is where Bitcoin peaked most recently at 40,800, and this is where we're starting to see that sign of bearish divergence that we were talking about on that 5 minute and that 1 hour chart. And these are the local levels that I've mapped out using a mix of VRPV and just the candlestick patterns. So we're seeing a little bit of the correction here. The next level being where it's at currently, 40,700. And then we've got a little bit of short time frame support at 40,600 and again at 40,450. So these are some short time frame levels that if we break down, we are more likely to see a retest of 40,000. And in the meantime, they're probably good places to look for scalps where the price will chop. If we do see a proper correction to 40,000, I would say over the next week, we'll probably continue to move in that consolidation range. So between this local high here of 40,800, 900 to 40,000 before we continue upwards. Bitcoin is in a macro uptrend. We broke 40K for the first time, which is a huge level of recent resistance. The next level of resistance is $46,000 to $48,000, and the likelihood that we're going to continue upwards on a macro kind of scale is pretty high. We're not seeing any signs of macro exhaustion, such as losing momentum, loss of volume, etc., etc. Although on a short time frame, we are seeing some signs of bearish divergence, meaning maybe we might correct to 40K before we continue upwards, our local high being 40,900. So maybe for the next couple of days we see a little bit of chop, but macro-wise, we're still looking really, really good. Keep in mind that uptrend correlates to a support of $32,000. So even if we break above 40K, we drop back down past 38, the next level of support is 32, and until we break that, we are still in a macro uptrend. I think I'm going to call it there on the analysis. If you learned something or you liked the video, don't forget to smash that like button, and I'll provide the link to the site where I do all of my charting, as well as Bitget and BingX where I do my trading. If you like Bitcoin content or you want to follow up on more news and price action analysis, I will provide a link to my Telegram below where you can sign up for free just using your phone number. And that is about it for today. Thanks. Bye.